Okay, welcome back. And our guest is the former acting national chair of the All Progressives Congress, Honorable Hilliard Etta. He's our guest this morning. And I have a caller calling in from Badagry this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Okoyori. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for calling in. Please go ahead.
I'm calling from Bagada State. My contribution to your program is this. As our men here have said earlier on, the problem in this nation is that we are not putting things in place before we act. For example now, there's not anything like electric buses. Like people that are reside in Ikorodu, from the Agric in Ikorodu now to Pangrove is 1,500 naira. So how do you cope? Then apart from that, the government go to downsize in terms of their expenditure, probably their cars and properties. Because when we see deputy governor on highways with 4, 5, 7, 8 cars, and you're talking of subsidy, and you are saying there's no money in the purse of the government, how are we going to believe that? Are they going to downsize? The honorable members in Abuja, are they going to downsize? Please, sir, we need to look into this very well. The masses are suffering. This is going to affect a lot of things. Please, do have a blessing, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for calling in Sunday from Bagada. I correct myself, not, I don't know how I heard Badagry that time. So sorry about that. There you have it. Coming back to you, according to Mr. Kiari yesterday, when he was explaining or briefing the APC at its national secretariat, he said last year the federal government paid subsidy. Said payment of subsidy will stop by June 2023, and it budgeted 3.36 trillion naira for the payments. And you've just explained we just can't carry on like that. In fact, Mr. Kiari was saying the same thing, that we're absolutely not able to carry on like that. Now, everybody agrees subsidy has to go. But the sort of way it went, without anything being in place yet, to sort of you know the way Nigerians are feeling, that, look, if I had known that because this has happened, subsidy is going to be affected, and so prices are going to go up. But right now, most people think that we're left naked. We're naked here. We're exactly the way we were the day before President Tinubu announced this. Now he has announced this. It has had its effect, and here we are, no different from day before yesterday, before Tinubu had announced this. So that's an area. What do you think? Do you think it was precipitate? Do you think it was accidental? Or do you think all of this was intentional? That, we will remove it?
No, you see, no, but before the departure of the former president, President Buhari, of course, Nigerians were told that subsidy will end in June.
In June.
And if you listen to the address of the president, he only agreed with the former president. Now, I do not know if the position of the NNPC is at variance with what the president said or not. I am not part of that conversation. But I do know something. Now, if most stations are selling their fuel for 500 and 550, I would like to say that's about 300, 200 or 300. I'm not too sure. But I think that's 2 times or 3 times what it used to be. Now, for you to know the kind of people that we are as Nigerians, the kind of transport costs or the pricing in the transport sector now, does it reflect 200 or 300%? You have people that used to charge 100 naira, charging 500 naira today. Does it reflect 200 and 300%? You see, sometimes we are our worst enemies. Those who are supposed to be the ones that are in the vulnerable sector, the vulnerable demography of Nigeria, in things like this become the Shylocks of the system.
Yes. They become vultures too.
Because you would be hearing some of, you'll be hearing some kinds of charges that these people put on passengers. You'll be wondering where those charges are coming from, because it does not reflect the increase,
Yes.
the percentage, in terms of percentage, it does not reflect the increase in pump price of fuel. So we as a people, we have to address that. Why do we like to hurt each other?
Indeed.
Why do we feel the necessity to take advantage of even people within our social level?
Indeed. These are some of
Because the taxi driver is bringing hardship, undue hardship, to the trader who is using his taxi to transport himself from one place to the other. And the trader in the market is using the opportunity that a teacher is coming to buy from him, to also wreak havoc on the economy of that teacher unnecessarily. So we need to examine ourselves. Why do we do the things that we do to ourselves? Why do we find satisfaction in doing those things?
I hear you. Now let me.
Yesterday, somebody was leaving
sorry for interrupting.
life camp to the airport in
I beg your pardon for interrupting you.
Yes?
Mazi Okoroafo has been waiting for quite a while. He's calling in from Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Sayori, I guess, for the past 3 years, our bank and others been telling Nigerian government, remove subsidy. Even they echoed the same thing. That was in March this year, 2023, their first International Economic Summit. Nigerian government say bye-bye to all this subsidy. Reason that it's only the bushers that the subsidy favors. But the question now is, Nigerians, at least the authority concerned could have looked at the issue of this our Dangote refinery. If Dangote refinery is now working, maybe that they said July, something there, at least that's the way to have before they talk about this issue of subsidy. But the thing is, most annoying thing is that most of these filling stations that are selling this fuel, they have this fuel as an old stock. But they went and skyrocketed the price, which is not, at least they could have finished the sales they have. When they bring in new stock, they try to vote. Now, some states, many people are not going to work because of this. But if you
That's exactly what Honorable Etta was just saying, Mazi. Exactly.
Yes. If you check West Sayori, you see that kerosene have been going on, selling at 1 liter, 800 naira for the past 3 years. Kerosene. That is 1 liter, 800 naira. Diesel, over 800 naira for the past 3 years in this country. People will say how many people are using kerosene. But because of that 1 liter per 800, that is why I see many people diverted to gas and not only gas, charcoal, not only firewood. That is why I see the frustration of our bush is so rapid that people have just got to cut all the trees really that would have helped and shed all this erosion. All these things we see that they have side effects. There's nothing in this country that comes out of this. But the thing is this, I will tell the government that all these modular refineries, they should try as much as possible and put them in that you use. And Nigeria should know that this crude oil we export, we are getting more unemployment for Nigeria. Reason, statistics have shown that from crude oil, you extract over 6,000 items from crude oil. Not only petrol, not only kerosene, not only diesel, not only jet. Some of these strategies that all of them are being used with that oil. Good morning. God bless us.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you, Mazi Okora, for calling in. Okay, back to you, Honorable Etta. You see, the situation. I remember once on this program we had Mr. Mele Kyari, who I think he was speaking. It was in the lead up to Nigeria, buying into the Dangote refinery, and he had spoken about the current regime where diesel fuel has been deregulated totally. There are those who are saying, well, we haven't seen the benefit of that, You know, if it has been deregulated totally, the diesel is somewhere in the region of 800. And Mr. Kyari had said at the time that actually it's an anomaly for diesel to be way up there, and then PMS that most people use, you know, at 185. He said it should be the other way around. So it's pretty confusing, but it's a task that must be done. And you spoke about some of those, let me use Mr. Lake's words, interventions that will have to be done. You've spoken about transportation and all of those things, which you also called a sort of a tokenism. But I was making the point that most Nigerians feel left very much on their own, even as they are aware of the necessity of this and want to, in their mind, support it. But you have to be alive to support. I overstated that only.
I agree with you that I should continue.
Yes, please.
Yes, I agree with you that you have to be alive to even benefit from what the new government is going to do. I agree with you that must be in the mind of government. But I am also sure that the government is not oblivious of that fact. But like I said before, my brother intervened I think that we really do need to examine ourselves and find out the mathematics, the numbers don't add up. They don't add up. The increment in the things that we, the Nigerians, do between ourselves and the increment of the pump price of fuel does not add up. That's number one, you know. And number two is that very soon, when you were talking about diesel, you know, you must also understand that diesel itself, even though deregulated, was also imported into Nigeria. So diesel also came with these landing charges. That's number one. Number two, I am not also aware that the importation of diesel was deregulated. That is to say that they didn't keep a cap on the price of diesel, but I do not know whether anyone could go to Europe on his or her own and import diesel into Nigeria. That I do not know, because that could be the problem. You see, if it is the NNPC that regulates who imports diesel into the country, then you must also blame the bureaucracy. Apart from the landing charges, it could be that it is because it is regulated in terms of the importation, not in terms of the price.
Okay.
That it may also be a problem. Now, if you say that a market is deregulated, then the NNPC should not be in a position to tell us who to import what.
Indeed.
They can tell us the quality to import.
Yes.
But they cannot tell us who to import what. I mean, that could be the contradiction that has made for the price of diesel to be where it is.
Okay.
And I do know that even diesel itself is going to be produced in the nation. It's going to be produced in Nigeria. Not just by Dangote, it's going to be produced by the government refineries. And for your information, I am not of the opinion that the government should keep the refineries. I think that it is not government's business to do business. But that is another discussion for another day. Now, I do know that BUA is also constructing refineries. There are modular refineries that are almost at the stages of completion. When all of these come together, we're going to have a glut in the market. And when that happens, it's economics 101. When you have enough supply, or even you have oversupply, the price will come down. It is natural.
Indeed. And then
because the price at which BUA will sell to the market may be different from the price that Dangote may sell to the market for the market. I usually use the cement as a point in this discussion. In 2019, cement was going for about 2,500, 2,600 naira per bag. Today, cement is going for 4,500. The reason cement is at that price, because cement would, given the inflationary trend in Nigeria, cement would have cost about 10 to to 15,000 naira per bag by now if we did not have enough supply in the system. So the moment we have enough supply of petroleum products, I am very sure that we have enough supply that the prices will come down. It is natural.
Indeed.
And we must define the role of the NNPC. The NNPC may become a cog in the wheel of progress. So we have to be very careful about the role of the NNPC, even in the Nigerian market. Because as of today, I do not think we have a Nigerian market. The refineries, the government refineries are not working.
Okay. Well,
the Dangote refinery is yet to come on stream.
Yeah.
The Bua refinery has not been completed. So we have only a market that has all of the variables are external.
I think the chief executive of NNPC was saying that by law, NNPC will not actually be importing more than 30% of our requirements. And in other words, it would now be thrown up to whoever person or corporate body was interested. And when you have more people in it, just as you were explaining, competitive forces will be engaged and the price will be driven down. If it has to go up, it has to go up. But that with more people, just as you were explaining, it's likely to come down. That was the sort of hope that he was given in trying to give an understanding to the way the article was phrased, given an understanding to the hierarchy, top hierarchy of the ruling party. So yeah, it's a thing that has to be done. All hands seem to be on deck, and Labour, I guess, is going to have to understand this a lot better than it understands it at the moment. Because Labour, and you can imagine it has Nigerian workers behind it, Labour is saying that my people stranded.
I should speak, I think I should say a little thing about the Labour. I think Labour is set up to protect the rights and the privileges of workers. And they share the same values with government, because government is not set up at variance with that principle. Government is set up to do exactly the same, to protect the privilege to protect the welfare and the security of every Nigerian citizen in this country. So they are on the same page when it comes to the welfare and security. And when I mean security, it comes with also economic security and all of that.
That's right.
So they are on the same page. I think that...
sorry, sir. Let me squeeze in Ada. Ada has called in. I don't know. She usually would have called in before.
Yes,
now. Good morning to you, Ada.
Good morning, Sayori, and good morning, Honorable Hilliard. Sayori, I pity President Tinubu. You know, he's just like somebody, the can has been passed on the road and then he has to pull the bull by the horn. That's what is happening, you know. So I think he feels that if he doesn't do it the way he's doing it now, we will never stop this subsidy. This subsidy, as Sally tells that number, it's really fraudulent. A lot of fraud is going on there. But the thing now, what I want to know now is that, for me, the palliative they're talking about, the most effective palliative is to get our refineries working. No, the Dangote own. The Dangote own will not even change the price of fuel. They have even said it, you know. So I don't know. It's more of export oriented, you know.
Oh,
so
all right then, Ada. Ada, I'm so sorry, Ada. We've run out of time. Thank you very much for calling in, Ada. So, well, Honorable Etta, thank you for making the time for us. It's we're going to have to keep a close watch on this, and it's such an urgent matter that I'm sure that it's going to be very, very timely. Even they have said they are going to be resuming their talks with between government and Labour on Sunday. They're not even waiting for the beginning of the week. So that shows how urgent it is. And so I'm sure very, very shortly, we should be able to see the road a bit more clear as to how we're going to operate this regime. So once more, thank you very much for making time for us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Okay, so that's our program today. Please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.